Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. We are in Dual Universe today. All right, so haven't been in here in a little while, and it feels really good to be back here. I have been playing, but I haven't been doing much on the show. But I've been working in here, as you can see. I've been clearing this out, believe it or not, underneath the mountain. And so looks like the sun's coming out. Look at that, nice sunrise. I'm in my one of my little utility vehicles. We have them for sale actually here at our place, and so anyway, it's good to be here. I have I have this the area that I've been working in here. It's here, let me go down just a little bit more. I don't want to knock my head on anything. It's just massive, absolutely massive, and I'm hoping that at some point they will make it so that we can make this a build shop in here that allows for multiple people to use the structures for building the what do we call them? I forget now. But anyway, okay. So let me park this here. There's a lot of changes that have happened since we've played last, and I've been working on some factory stuff here. In fact, I'm gonna be building out the factory in here. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna do it yet, but that's all the refining right there. That's all of the different ore types, every single one of them. And I still have more containers to put out here, so I got to actually make some more containers. And which means that I got to get some more stuff to home. And I've got this guy running here. By the way, what we're going to do on the show today, we're going to go over all this information that's come out about the game lately. And so I want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and everything. So anyway, let's set autopilot on this guy. And this is my Thor's hammer, except I attached another 2 boxes to it, so I can get a little bit more. This is one of my throwaway ships. Like if it gets popped, it gets popped, So that's just the way it goes. Yeah. All right. And so we're gonna get this. This is gonna get all the way up to speed here. While we just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's happened in the game, and oops, that's the wrong thing. And so some of the stuff is that the well, not a lot has happened, but I can say without a doubt that it's not because the people at Novaquark are not working hard. Something that we're going to touch on here coming up that was in the 3rd installment of the information update that they did is that that 0.25 is where the mission system is going to be coming in now. instead of 0.24, and 0.24 was delivered without the mission system. But one of the things that went in before that was the test server. And the test server is actually what caused the delay in that, and we caused the delay in that. Because we found things in the mission system that that were not in the original development cycle that that needed to be addressed. And so now those are being addressed, and it'll be out in 0.25. So I'm really looking forward to that, because it does some things like it has us here doing stuff like delivering things for people. People will pay for deliveries, and then there'll be missions. So it'll be another way that you can earn money is to fly out to other places. Now, I don't know how much money it's going to be. I don't know how much money we're going to make. I don't know how many of those are going to be ganks and everything, but
XXAK_beatdown XX chid X1000.
I love how that reads that off. It's kind of funny. Thank you, Beatdown, for the 1,000 bits. How about 1,000 gold to everybody here in your honor? And I'll put another $10 onto the show fund, which right now I'm working on moving. I'm kind of got a buying freeze on everything, because we're going to be moving here soon. But one of the things I got on my list is one of those Razer webcams, because they look really good. Can you ask an Eve question? Well, you can ask, but this is really dual universe today. So, you know, it'd probably be best to wait until like Tuesday. I mean, we do Eve almost every day on the show. So, all right, Beatdown. All right, I appreciate that. So, and as far as the house, yes, the house is not going to work out. There's a lot to it, but suffice to say, we have the money to do it. But we're hung up on something from the IRS, and they are so late in any responses and stuff, and we're hung up waiting on the government, and it is very, very frustrating. There's nothing I can do about it. So anyway, yeah. And, you know, after I get it all resolved and everything, I may do a video talking about it, but until it's resolved, I don't want to. And so let's, anyway, working it. Yeah, but their communication is horribly slow right now. So, okay, anyway. Hello, Rick. Yes, doing well. By the way, we do have a giveaway today. It's a 1-month code for DU. Extend your sub or create a new account. Exclamation point giveaway. All right. So anyway, the stuff is going. I think is going to start picking up. And one of the things is that I've noticed. You know, okay. So the big elephant in the room is that JC changed positions within the company. And when you're CEO or president and you take a different position within the company, public perception is, oh my God, what the hell just happened? And everything. It's very it's not very common, but it's not an uncommon thing either. And so JC has moved to focusing in some different areas that where his talents really lie, and where we're probably going to benefit from that. And so no need to worry, he's still with the team and everything, and stuff. But anyway, so let's see here. Look at that. Beatdown. And then he goes from He goes from Twitch, 1,000 bits, and then he goes over to YouTube, 20 bucks. Says, I'll ask you later somehow. Have a good stream. Beatdown, thank you very much.
Oh, nice.
Yep, there it
Dragons
is.
love gold, treasure, and of course, dollar bills.
I'll put that on the show fund. So, thank you very much. The 20 bucks down. You're very generous. Very generous, Beatdown. Very much so. I'm the only one you support? Damn, I'm honored. I'm very honored. Thank you. So, all right. Hello, Brian. Oh, hey. Hello, Tommy. So, anyway, we're getting up to speed here. As soon as that's up to speed, we are going to go over all of this information from Novaquark. There's a lot there. There's really a lot there, and we're going to see, basically what's up, because there's a lot of stuff here, and I feel like it's really worth going over, especially for those of you who don't like to read these kind of articles and stuff. I think it's going to be really good to go over. It'll only take us a minute I'm empty, so it'll only take us a minute to get fully up to speed here. And you can see my co-pilot in the corner. He's my interplanetary helper. Oh my. Hope you all have been doing well. So, let's see here. Yeah, Rick, anytime you're dealing with the government, it's a pain in the ass. With COVID, the government is very behind in their communications. Very behind in their communications. And so we're hung up on that. So we're going to be, when we get into the place, we're going to have to get it for at least a year. Be at least a year lease. And so should give plenty of time to get everything finished up. So yeah, I mean, it should be, unless oh my god, I saw on Hulu this movie called Songbird, and it was about COVID-23 and about how they were in the 4th year of lockdown, and I thought, man, I watched a little bit of it and I found it too disturbing. I didn't finish it. What's my favorite aspect of Dual Universe? I love flying ships and the physics of it and everything. Yeah. Yep, I really do. So this should turn off its propulsion, and then it's going to start. Setting up for a reverse burn, and I'll make sure that it gets that done. This little ship, it can't do a reverse burn in when it's full, and the reason it can't is it can't get turned properly. It's just not enough oomph on all these adjusters for it to do it. When you fly it manually, you can, but otherwise, it's just not enough. It wasn't designed for these extra 2 containers on here. So, yeah. But it gets a little bit more stuff hauled. Yeah. Video keeps buffering.
Another dragon boarding the train. All aboard! Choo choo.
I'm not losing any packets. So, Sevlin, you might try YouTube if you can't refresh Twitch and get it to work. So, Simon, 50 months as a sub. Woo!
Oh yeah, another dragon boarding the train. All aboard! Choo choo.
All right, 50 months. How about 2,000 gold to everybody here in your honor, Simon? Thank you, thank you. And then look at that. A massive 76 months. 76 months from STS Desiree. Amazing, huh? 76 months. 76 months is 4,560 gold. Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. So, all right. How big a ship is this? This is a, oops. God, I'm always hitting that by accident. That's what I wanted to hit. This is a extra small core. And it's got 3 larges on it. So, no. Yeah, I've talked about selling these and everything. It's space only though. You got to take it from space dock or moons or something. So you can't land this on a planet. Well, you can. I did it on accident once, but you're not supposed to. Yeah. So, yeah. So the. I just added a couple containers on this one is all I did. So anyway, all right, so it's cruising along now and it's going to do its thing. It'll start turning and everything here, so we'll let it do its thing. Okay, let's go over everything from this massive information update for Dual Universe. They did these dev blogs, and it's really what I wanted to go over today, because I think that a lot of you don't take the time to read this or whatnot. Some of you may have read all of it, but a lot of you don't. And here, that's going to be noisy. Let's see here. What can I do here? You hear that? It's even going out that far, still hear it. All right, well, let's see about, I'm gonna adjust the volume on that. There we go. All right. So as long as I'm not getting attacked or something. All right. So I figured we'd go over this and talk about some of the things because a lot being an actual business partner with Novaquark, there's a lot of stuff that I can't talk about, but there's a lot of stuff that I know, and I can tell you the sentiment behind what they're saying, and whether or not I personally think things are going in a good direction, or if I want to encourage them to do some other stuff or whatever. So I want to share some of that with you without giving away any information that I can't share, but to maybe give some background on some of this stuff. So Tommy says, love the show. Thanks for the Plex. You're welcome, buddy. All right. So, by the way, that's working again. It didn't work for a while. I think we have it working again now. So, if anybody, by the way, when you're getting something from our store or whatnot and asks you to put in a message for the show, and then it tells you there's messages in the queue or something like that, will you get a screenshot of that and send it to us? A couple people have reported that, and we see some errors, but we can't figure out how they're related. So that would be helpful. I mean, maybe it's just going to tell us what we already know. I don't know, but All right. So the first one here, the future of Dual Universe. And part of why these came out was because the changes with JC at the company and taking a different role and everything, and so it caused a lot of Look at that. The scroll still doesn't work. Yeah, the zoom still doesn't work on their site. I thought they said that they fixed it. Guess not. All right. So, anyway, so then they decided to come out with this stuff, which is really good because it gives us a good look inside. So, all right. We've learned a lot of lessons since the beta began 7 months ago. Has it been 7 months already? Damn. So, see, going from backer-focused game in alpha under NDA to public, wide open beta, with many new players gave us the insight in several areas. Processes, economics, and gameplay. In this blog, we hope to focus on processes, with the later two being subjects of subsequent blogs. So, I think we can start by saying that that Dual Universe went public just a little bit too early. Yeah, but all right. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if they say that in here. That's just one of my opinions. So, the long hard look at Novaquark was still a fairly small team. Given the ambition and complexity of this game, it can be quite a challenge to make the right decisions on how to make the most of our resources. To date, we've been focusing on bug fixing, stabilization, balancing, scaling, and improving our server database infrastructure, plus firefighting when necessary to make the game work better. Unfortunately, they've spent a lot of time firefighting. You know, stuff comes up and stuff breaks, and it's like, okay, drop everything and fix this because the game is having a huge impact. Huge impact on the game. Y2KY, thank you for following. Welcome. All right. And so, not to say that this is all behind us. It will never be, such is the way of MMOs. And we know some bugs and exploits still need to be addressed. This is beta after all. Still, we paused earlier this year to ponder our next phase of development of DU should be. What the next phase of development of DU should be. Yeah, okay. I have trouble reading the text when it's smaller because I got such a high resolution on this monitor. That's why I was trying to increase it.
Dragons.
But it seems that it still doesn't work on their website. So, yeah. Kevin McFree, thank you for the sub on YouTube. All right, let's go over some of this. If it's broke, fix it. Yes. In the development that I do, it's always fixes before features. And we have a mantra of that because otherwise, if you start putting in features when things aren't fixed, you compound the issues, and then it really buries you into an endless cycle of bugs. Maintaining a live game while we continue to develop it ended up being quite a leap from our tightly controlled alpha environment. As much as we prepared for it, actually doing it was a whole different beast. If you guys don't know this, here's something that maybe you guys don't know. Have you ever heard of game companies laying people off when they launch, like an MMO? Well, that's because there's a development team and then there's a production live team. And so it's a transition that happens there. So a lot of building happens of all the infrastructure and everything, and they get that all going and they get it up to the point where they're ready to launch. And then those infrastructure builders are no longer needed. There's other stuff that's no longer needed too. And it's a huge leap. It's different than when you're making single player games, because when you're making single player games or another game that you put out there that there might be some bug fixes or whatnot, but it's not an MMO, well, the team delivers and then it gets scaled down and you're like, well, because they're not making the game anymore. So the team gets scaled down, and so they're just doing some bug fixes, and and then maybe they'll scale back up later if it's a hit and start, creating, DLC or whatever. So in MMOs, though, it's a big team transition, and so people either have to reassign the jobs that they're doing or they're replaced. So the people who are building the worlds and everything typically, are then moving out, while other people are coming in, which is people who are in support of the live operations, storyline, legend lore, mission systems, these kinds of things. So anyway, when they say that it was hard, and hello, Garrick, when they say that it was hard to make that transition, they're not joking. And Novaquark had something else against them. They've never built a game before. I don't know if you guys knew this, but MMOs are the hardest games to build, and Novaquark had not built a game prior to this. So super, super ambitious. They have some people on the team who have worked in game development, but many of the team were never in game development before. And so that is part of why they've been able to develop this game. And it's because nobody had the experience or the little, person talking in their ear saying, no, you can't do that. And that is part of the potential greatness of Dual Universe, is that they don't come in with these preconceived, thoughts.
Oh yeah, another dragon boarding the train.
Not being able
All
to
aboard?
do something.
Choo choo.
So they imagine
Great
it.
show, keep it coming.
Thank you. Charlemagne. All right, 8 months as a sub. There's 80 gold to everybody here in your honor. Thank you, thank you. So they didn't have this blockage, this mental blockage of saying, well, that's just not done. You just can't do that. Now, it's a double-edged sword, because at the same time of not being inhibited by what these perceived limitations are of video game development, they also went out of bounds on a couple of things. And they found that, we found the limit. Now, people who were really experienced in game development and everything are looking at them going, why didn't you guys know? Because, well, they didn't. But that's part of the beauty of how we've ended up with a game as ambitious as this. And so there's more mistakes to be had in the game here than in other games because of this. But also there's a creativity and an innovation that happens in here that you are not seeing other places. What's going to happen is the stuff that they prove that works really good in here, we will start to see some other games copying it. That's going to happen. So they're pioneering the way, which is always harder. And so it's really big props to Novaquark for even doing this. And that's one of the things that I recognized with this. So when the Kickstarter came out, I don't know, what was that, 4 years ago or something? I don't even know. That's when I reached out to them, and I did my first interview with JC. And I recognized that they were working on something here that was new, not been done before and everything. There was, and we'll have it at the end of the show here on Twitch only, not on YouTube, because YouTube will give me a copyright thing. But at the very end of the show here, I have a video of Landmark. And Landmark is kind of a predecessor to Dual Universe as far as terraforming on a large scale. And so I thought it was appropriate to play. It's just a little music video that I did of looking at sunrise and sunset in the game. But anyway, and that game flopped. They were too early. They could not translate it into money, which has to happen in order for it to launch. Because if the company is not profitable at some point, it has to go away. It just has to. So anyway, okay, let's continue on here, and let's see here. Okay, so that's probably one of the areas where the reality check was the most brutal for us. Exactly what I was talking about here. The transition from development to live. And that's why there's another game that I work with, Crowfall. They have decided to not do it the same way. They went live from the start. And it was kind of crazy and everything, but they are not, once they get everything developed, they're instantly going to launch. There's not going to be beta and everything with a live environment and everything. I mean, it's live right now, but it all gets wiped and tested. And so different ways of thinking about things. And those guys are veterans, but even the veterans, you know, they're doing it a different way than normal. But they've been through this a few times. So the world of Dual Universe is a persistent one, and every time we introduce something, it impacts the player and the delicate balance of its economy. There are so many mistakes that have been made with the economy in this game. I feel like sometimes I wish they would listen to me about the economy. I am not smart enough to run the economy, but I do notice some huge mistakes that have been made, and I really hope that they don't do them again. One of the biggest changes that they made was this whole thing of the bots buying ore and them getting reset on price and buying for 25 per, and it's just a hugely horrible idea. They need to let it be consistent and never mess with it. And if it's going on, you know, the flow of things and the prices ebb and flow, never reset it. Just make minor adjustments to the algorithm to get it to go in the direction you want. Don't reset it, because it just bombs the entire player market every time they do. And that's happened a couple of times. So anyway, I know that devs probably are going to watch this later and everything. And I'm sorry for my brutal honesty, but you know you'll always have it honest from me. And you know, I'm not blowing smoke. Dragon that doesn't blow smoke. That's an oxymoronic statement. All right. So, there's no safety net, and player feedback often came once bugs or balancing issues that had already impacted the game's economy. Yeah, okay, so they acknowledge this here. So let's start with how we plan to improve our process and quality control, because it is an area where something wrong can have major impact on players. We have 3 goals in this area. All right, gather feedback from players earlier in the process, so when new features and changes are introduced into the game, their impact on the persistent universe is properly measured. This is why the mission system got pushed from 0.24 to 0.25. And to me, it actually kind of pissed me off that it didn't launch then. But the fact is that because of the player test server and feedback that they got on there, the mission system was not ready. Everything else was ready to go. The mission system was not. Even though it was a crown jewel of that publish, it had to be delayed. And so that was a really hard choice, because even I had negative feelings about that. I'm sure a bunch of other people did too. But, you know, I had one of my staff walk out on me one time. I'll tell you a little story here about this. I owned a computer store. And we were so insanely successful. Like, I didn't even know what I had. I had a tiger by the tail. We would open up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and there'd be a line. There'd be 5 or 10 people out there. And I'm like, you know, well, maybe we should open up earlier. So we open up at 9:30. We have another 5 or 10 people at 9:30. We got all the way down to opening up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we still had people at 8 o'clock in the morning waiting to get in. And that was pretty insane. And this was back when some mom and pop computer shops were really taking off. Mine was one of them. And we did an amazing amount of business. And so we had repairs that we were doing for people. And what we would do is that we would take them all in on one day, and then they would be put into the back room in the order that they were going to be worked on, and which was usually first in, first out. And so what ended up happening is that we'd, at the end of the day, all these computers here, we'd take them in order and we'd build this pyramid. So the last ones that just came in would go on the floor, and then we'd build this giant pyramid in the middle of the room, and you'd take off the top and then you'd work your way down. And then as they were completed and ready to go, they were placed out in this really long hallway that was probably 100 foot long. And sometimes we would have 100 feet of computers sitting there, all these towers just going all along. It was so insanely stupid that I didn't even know. I was young. I didn't know what we had there. We had something really amazing, and we didn't treat it right. But the thing is that we were having some quality control issues, and so we were trying to get all of these computers done within like a 48-hour turnaround. Or they would come in the morning, and then we'd work on them for a couple hours, and then they get done, and they were put out in the hall, and we were calling people the next day. So a little bit more than 24 hours. And, that worked pretty good, except when we had stuff that went back out that wasn't fixed right. And so I tried to slow my team down, take more time to do it right the first time. Well, that wasn't working. We were still having too much stuff coming back. We were having like 20% of the repairs come back. And in my opinion, it should be down around 2%. So, actually, you don't want anything coming back, but it can be complex especially when people are having problems with like software and stuff that only happens every once in a while. That gets really complex to figure out. And how many hours do you bill them? Well, you don't want to overbill them either, so you have a limited amount of time to try and reproduce it and fix it. So, but we were having like 20% come back, which was really not good. And so one day I put up this big sign in the office, back in the tech room. And this big ass sign said, if you don't have time to fix it right if you don't have time to do it right the first time, when will you have time to fix it? I got my point across. I found that sign in the trash. And my manager, who was working over all the tech stuff, he got the point, and he was so furious that day that he nearly walked out. And I'm like, but dude, we just got to bring the quality up. So make improvements, and I won't mess with you. And so anyway, that is, it's tough. We had to slow down the process and everything. And so the player test server in Dual Universe has slowed down the whole development process, but we should have a lot higher quality from it. And so that should be good. Okay, how's this guy looking? Good. He is all ready to go. Woohoo! Yeah. So he's just sitting there ready for his turn and burn. All right, we'll come back to him. I will turn on the volume on that again so we hear it whenever it fires up. All right. So, gather feedback from players earlier in the process. That is part of the test server stuff. We have more flexible and collaborative development approach that allows us to take player feedback into consideration, modifying plans when we're able. So that's interesting, when we're able. Sometimes plans can't be modified. I guess that if you build a foundation for a house and you build the house on it, and then you realize that there was supposed to be something different with the foundation, you're kind of screwed. It takes a lot of work to change that. So, when we're able. Overall, improve the quality of our releases, which means fewer bugs and exploits and less hot fixing. So, I actually think already that I think we're seeing that. So what'll happen is that we have this slowdown right now with this whole process, going in for its first full cycle. But once we make it through a whole cycle on that, then the cadence should get quite normalized, unless they add something else in between it. But we shouldn't see as long of delays as what we've seen recently. So, all right. When it comes to gathering feedback from players earlier, we're evaluating some of the options we have to get feedback on game design ideas from players at an earlier stage before they have actually entered the production pipeline. We are already seeing significant improvements in this area since the launch of the public test server, PTS. Shit. I was going to say, I always say it wrong. And then I said it wrong right before I said I was going to say it wrong. PTS. I always feel like there should be a D on the end of that. And PST, Pacific Standard Time. And so I just get that mixed up. It's a good thing that I'm not the one writing this, because I'd have that wrong all the time. When we deployed 0.24 on the PTS first, players gave us invaluable feedback, helping us to identify several issues that we're able to address before they reach the production server. Although the PTS to production process isn't perfect yet, we're still working to improve it and think it's getting significantly better with each iteration. I agree. In the future, we will expand the use of the PTS to testing prototypes of features outside regular releases, so that all players can give their feedback as early in the development process as possible. And it sounds really interesting, because what they're talking about there is trying things. So, we've got this idea, and we don't know if it's a crazy idea or a great idea. Well, let's put it on the test server, and then we'll see, see how people react to it. And it's like throwing stuff up on the wall and seeing what sticks and everything. There's another way of putting that, and it's called ready, fire, aim. So you ready it, you fire it out there, and then if it hits the target, you aim in on things. Otherwise, you leave it alone. You move on to the next thing. So, yeah. All right. Another major improvement to our process is that we're addressing is flexibility. On our way to beta, we had a fairly rigid roadmap that was dictated by a necessity to lay the foundation for all the gameplay pillars for beta, as well as fulfilling our promises to our backers. And that's a really big deal, fulfilling promises to backers. You have to deliver what you say you will, Star Citizen forever, to the people who bought into it. Otherwise, you're a joke. Yeah. So, I'm not salty at all about Star Citizen. Star Citizen looks amazing. But I'm going to be a Star Senior Citizen by the time they actually deliver what they said they would. Yeah, if they ever do. I've got quite a few more years before I'm actually a senior citizen. Believe it or not, I'm 50. I'm very gray for my age. And I've been hanging out with ZZ Top and stuff, so I have this, well, anyway, let's see here. Let me prove to you I've been hanging out with ZZ Top. All right. So, while the overall plan and long-term goals for DU haven't changed. We need to be able to adapt to our feedback of players along the way, wherever it is feasible. For example, if we dedicate to make a major overhaul in our mining mechanics, we need the flexibility to iterate as much as necessary until we find the right formula before we move to something else. Yeah. All right. Let's. It's a little bit easier to read when it's not so dark. Although I could do like Dr. Disrespect and turn the brightness to 100%. So yeah. So let's see here. Although they may not be feasible to players, there are many other things happening internally, or visible to players. All right, there are many other things happening internally that we have already proven to improve our releases. First and foremost, our internal release process is undergoing a revamp. Based on the learnings from our past launches, we've allotted more time for QA than we used to. This is good. And we will postpone a release if we think it's not ready, as we did with the 0.24 update. They not only postponed it, they actually, the crown jewel of it got bumped to 0.25. So these new processes are still being refined, but seeing improvements already. We remain steadfast in our promise to deliver the best game possible. We feel confident that these changes we're making now to our processes are a big step forward to obtaining that goal. I agree. I think that yes, very good, very good. So, all right. So, all right. I want to go grab another drink, and then we'll continue on to part 2 here. And we are going to play some today too. So I got one ship flying. I've got a teardown that I'm going to start of one area so that I can fly my big ships in, and everything. And so anyway, I'll be right back.
You, sir, rock.
All right, Major Mojo, how you doing? Thank you for the raid, much appreciated. So, Major Mojo being another DU streamer. So, I actually watch him every once in a while. I lurk mostly. Maybe next time I'll say hi. So, all right. So now we're on to the second part of the blog. Under the hood. Let's see here. So the cost of doing business. The server and database architecture behind Dual Universe is new and quite complex. We had about the game itself, we had made assumptions.
Oh yeah, another dragon boarding the train. All aboard! Choo choo.
Made assumptions about how much running a game like DU was going to cost in the various areas. Old Raven, 6 months as a sub. How about 60 gold to everybody here in your honor? Thank you, thank you. By the way, so Dual Universe comes out to be about $7 a month. Most MMOs on the low end, when you buy like a year, it comes out to like 12 or 13. On the high end, though, it comes out to like 15, whatnot. I still think that Novaquark is crazy for charging half. I've mentioned this to them many times. It's good for all of us as players, but I think that, you know, how many of you here? Let's just take a quick poll in chat. How many of you here would still be playing or would have gotten in here in the first place, whatnot, if it was between, you know, 10 and 15 bucks a month, or let's just say 12 bucks a month, which is, you know, kind of the median of current games. How many of you here would have still put down your money and played? And how many of you wouldn't have? So that'd be really interesting to know, because myself, I would. Now I might have
oh yeah,
one or two less
dragon
accounts
boarding the train. All aboard! Choo choo.
Because you know, oh, and yeah, so hello hell 7 is your max for this alpha. Good point. Good point. And Rick says the price is why I gave it a go. And then Vagarama says not me because of the problems. And Stone says he'd be here if it was $15 a month. Yeah. So yeah, perhaps less accounts. Yes, I might have a couple less accounts. So if they optimize now. Okay, so let me ask another question here. And Snobaddy here, 8 months as a sub. There's 80 gold to everybody here in your honor. Okay, let's ask another question. If the game ran well on your machine, would it then be worth more money per month? Like instead of the $7 a month it is right now, if it ran really good on your machine, would it be worth like $12 a month? For me, I think yes. See Vagarama saying yes. So, yeah. If it ran well, you would pay? Yeah. Yeah, so maybe that's their main priority is, because I'm seeing a lot of yeses here, that would make a big difference. So, I don't know. So, maybe that when it launches, which they have not told me this, they have not told me this. They've told me they are steadfast at this price as it stands right now. But I don't see how, unless, you know, we get massive amounts of players. I really think that once they work out the issues of performance, I think the price should go up. And now I'm talking with my business hat on, not my player hat. Of course, as a player, I want it as cheap as possible. So, you know, yeah. So, all right. Well, that's a good little feedback thing there. So, and I do know they have something that none of you are going to expect that's coming up that is for performance. It is so outside of the box. Some of you guys are going to go, holy shit, yeah, that's great. And some of you are going to groan. I'll talk about it more once they announce it. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll be fun. So, yep. Okay. So, yeah. PoE is free. Well, they got to make money somehow, which they do. Don't they sell currency or whatnot? Yeah, so, and Blazemonger says, if Novaquark would charge $10 a month, it would add considerably to the revenue, hardly impacting the amount of subs, you're sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that would. So, I think that, I don't know. I want to see them succeed. The more revenue they have coming in, the more that they can pay on development and everything, the better it is for all of us. So, anyway, I am on board with that. I would not be on board with it being more than $15 a month. I wouldn't go above the normal. So, maybe keep it at like 7 for if you buy a year. And if you're buying 1 month at a time, it's 15, and have some sort of scale there. Something like that. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, let's continue on with this. All right. The server and database architecture is quite complex. Okay, we read that already. We had to confront the costs of scaling up operations for larger global player base, and that's okay. We have a plan. After the revelation, we determined that some of our design decisions have had a major impact on operational costs, i.e., what it costs to run the servers. In particular, databases are a major part of these costs. For example, because the world can be entirely edited on, and every edit needs to be stored in the database, then communicated between server and clients, it eats a lot of our I/O allocations, which in turn increases the database costs. So, one of the things that they've done here is that this shit's running in the cloud. And like Amazon Cloud and everything, it gets really expensive. So the more requests you make, the more reads and writes you make, you get charged for each one of them. Each one of them is a micro cost, but when you scale it up to all these people playing and all of these changes and the constant reading and writing in there, I could see that spiking costs way out of control. And I actually thought, in the beginning when I heard about this, I thought that they might be shooting themselves in the foot with that. We can draw a comparison to like CCP and EVE Online. They keep all their stuff in-house. Now, the game is older school and such, but they're doing all of their own infrastructure, which the upfront costs are a lot more, but the operations and long term it costs less. So anyway, yeah, I can see that as being one of their areas that they look at and work on. So their database people should be probably their highest skilled, highest paid people in the company. And because they're worth their weight in gold if they can keep the reads and writes down and everything, and keep it more compacted. So yeah, it's really quite a it's a big undertaking. It's part of the reason why people haven't done games like this before, and it's go back to when I was saying that like Novaquark, going out on this adventure, didn't know what they should not be doing or what they should be doing. And that's part of the greatness of it, but that also has some side effects. All right. Okay, the impact on updates. The consequences of that in the upcoming months will be rolling out significant back-end improvements in order to optimize these operational costs. We made the conscious decision to keep pricing low in order to make the game more accessible to people that want to play. But that means that we need to keep operational costs in check. Developing these optimizations is time-consuming, but it is fundamental if we want to have a viable game as the player base continues to grow. Exactly kind of some of the stuff we were talking about. So it's important to make players aware of this because some of our upcoming releases may not seem like much to you. While they won't appear to include much in the way of new features, they will be updates to deploy these fundamental under-the-hood changes. For instance, the upcoming 0.25 release will be primarily focused on introducing a game-changing incremental storage mechanism for edits to the game world that will have major positive impact on our database costs. The good news is that we think that some of these modifications will improve performance for players. Yeah, so maybe they're going to containerize it or something like that. I mean, I'm not a database person. I know I've done some database work. I am by no means a database expert or whatnot, and it's been quite a while since I've done any database stuff. I used to build my own sites and manage my own database and PHP, MySQL, and all that stuff. That's about the limit of my experience. These days, I pay people to do that because, yeah. So speaking of performance, that's another area where we've been doing a lot of work, using the in-game telemetry to optimize areas where performance was dropping. There are several projects in the works to address performance. Although these may not seem particularly sexy when you read about them in the patch notes, the difference in how much better the game runs and feels while you're playing should convince you it was worth the time and effort spent on them. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So Blazemonger says NQ is hesitant to increase the sub cost because they think the player base will be hesitant to pay a higher price, in which the player base is hesitant to pay a higher price because NQ is not being transparent and clear on why the higher costs would improve their expenses. Yeah, so it's also, there's something else about it too, which is kind of a fundamental thing. It's way easier to drop a price than it is to raise it. And so, in my opinion, they should have started out at higher and then, had, some introductory offers or whatnot. And that might be what we are at right here, right now. Some people have bet on that saying, okay, well, I want to play this for the next couple of years. And they've gone ahead and, paid for a couple years at the current rate in the bet that, it's going to go up in the future. And so I don't know how it can not go up in the future, but they've been very adamant every time I've talked to them about it that this is where it stays. So, okay. One example is the in-game screens. Oh, everybody can moan here because there's been a lot of people talking about all the work that they put into the HTML. So, is there a way to delete and start a new character? I don't know. Can you delete your character? Well, don't know that you can. One example is in-game screens. They ended up being quite popular among players, but the use of HTML for screen customizations has proven to be quite a performance bottleneck in areas where there are a lot of screens. We recently started testing a new system using simple Lua draw commands instead of HTML to achieve the goal of screen customizations. This change should seriously alleviate performance issues in areas where a lot of screens, while providing the added benefit of unifying customization languages in a more user-friendly way. So people who have made these things are got a shock because they have so many hours into this stuff. But the fact is, if this is one of the things, like if this change can have a positive effect of just one more FPS for all players, then it's a very positive improvement. And so I think that while it's a painful change, this goes back to the whole thing of, we were talking about Novaquark not having boundaries when creating the game, and so this might have been that some company that had more experience might know this ahead of time or might not, but it's one of the things that is really good about Novaquark is that they've made these kind of things available to us, and so now it's being modified. And so anyway, I think it's this change is gonna be a little bit painful, but it's gonna be necessary. Blazemonger says, problem is NQ is driving drastic changes which nullifies player time dedicated to the game. It's all alpha stuff, not something during beta. You're right, they launched too early. They launched to the public too early, and there's not much more to say about that. I mean, it is. I think we can all agree that it went out a little bit too early. I think that 6 months or a year from now, it's going to all feel really good, and be a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun right now, but there's some points that don't feel good. So, all right. So, and they say they got more optimizations in the pipeline that'll be presented in due time. All right, good. And then, finding the fun. How's my other guy doing here? He is doing okay. All right. So, okay, here is the final segment in this, and this one is finding the fun. Well, that's important. It's a video game after all. Huzzah. You don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but you're taking your $7 and putting it back into Plex. That's fine, buddy. You can bring your $7 back later when things look like you want to give another shot again. So, yeah. People move around in games and stuff. I think that's natural. I think it's natural. And ultimately, ultimately, that is how you give your biggest vote on things. So, it's with your money. Am I selling the hammer ship yet? I probably should. I haven't done any sales of it yet. Although it wouldn't be hard for me to just sell some blueprints of it. I had planned on putting some of the ships out there to be able to. It won't happen today, but yes, I do want to make them available and cheap. So, all right. In this third segment, we'll take a look at the dual universe gameplay. Okay. So, breaking the monotony. Even if the main pillars of the game aren't quite finished yet. See? That is saying, yes, we launched too early. The launch of beta allowed us to see the various systems, how the various systems work together, how fun they are, and what actually works and sometimes doesn't. So, analyzing the data on player behavior and reading the copious amounts of feedback we received, thanks for that, we have pointed to two main objectives we'll be addressing in the coming months, in addition to continuing to fix bugs and balancing issues. So, these are, first, amend gameplay loops that are tedious for some. We call it fixing the player routine so that DU doesn't feel like going to work. Yeah, if the game feels like you're going to work, or that you have just you bought yourself a job, yeah, that's no fun. All right, up the stakes. Adding meaningful opportunities for conflict so that in-game economy, social components, and building aspects come together. Meaningful opportunities for conflict. So in-game economy, social components, and building aspects come together. So this is like PvP, but also market and maybe interactions on the ground with other people. So there's not only PvP shooting at each other, pew pew. There is market PvP. Somebody the other day was talking about how they didn't like people manipulating the markets, and I'm like thinking, dude, that's how we roll, you know? So yeah, manipulating the markets is part of the game when you let the players run it. So yeah. Okay, asteroid mining might simulate PvP. Yeah, so, or stimulate. So some of the elements of gameplay are more fun than others in Dual Universe. Mining can often be seen as must-do for many new players. In fact, I saw a new player today saying that in chat, saying, okay, why am I having to mine? You know, can't I do something else to make money? Yeah. So, and because it's perceived as mandatory, it can be rapidly feel tedious. Mining. Earning quanta is fundamental. When we launched beta, it seemed like mining was almost the only way to get money, especially for new players who didn't have much in the way of resources or allies. So this might be part of why we get this stipend every day of 150,000 quanta for logging in. And so, you know, that allows you to at least have some working capital if you make really poor decisions in the beginning. So, all right. So make it easier for newcomers to gather resources from the surface of planets without needing to dig. That's something for the future. All right, then transition players to developing mining units once they've claimed a territory. Mining units will supply a steady stream of ore, depending on the specifics of each of the tiles the players claimed. These mining units come in tiers and should add a sense of progression even to early mining. There will also be production optimization gameplay if you want to use several mining units. So something really interesting about this, talking about this. So if you want to put a lot of money into a whole bunch of mining units, you might be able to get quite a good amount of ore each day, but they're probably going to be quite costly in one way or another, whether it's maintenance or whether it's the cost of building them or whatever. And this may address some of the issues. It's not a proper fix, but it may be a fix. Like I have, I think about 400,000 petalite that I can't find in a tile, and so I have it claimed and everything, and I've mined the rest of it, but I have not been able to find this last bit. And yes, I'm still working on that node. I haven't found the last bit of it. I mined the other one that I found, which I thought was it. It turned out to only be about 100,000. So I still have a whole bunch there. And this automated mining should then pick that up. I would think. At the same time, like here's my thing here. At the same time, I would never run one on this tile here because I have stuff like this. I've actually decorated them into the features of what I'm doing here. So I mean, there's floating rocks here, but they're part of the landscape down here, and so I intentionally have not mined them as I'm clearing this away, making room for all of my ship parking under here. So anyway, oh, and I found I've got a chrome chromite node, and I've got a limestone node that I just uncovered last night in here too. So anyway, let's see here. Okay, for players who want to specialize in mining, we will introduce asteroid mining. Think of asteroids as epic mining with high reward potential. Asteroids will be spawned in the universe. Players will be able to scan clues in space to discover where they're located. Some asteroids will contain not just regular ores, but also rare and valuable ores. Once discovered, there will be a delay before their location is broadcast to all players. So, if you're really good at going out and discovering these, you may be able to mine them up before the information is made more public. And I can see that that in this kind of method that might be a good thing, and that it has to be made public, because some of them won't be found. But then it creates a POC, point of contention, out in the middle of space. So that could be very interesting. This is an opportunity for explorers who will find these asteroids to reap the resources first, or monetize their location. So, if you find one, mine the hell out of it really quick, before it's made public, before somebody else finds it. So it could be very interesting. And you'll want to mine it as fast as you can before somebody else shows up. Yeah. The control of valuable asteroids will also create opportunities for combat, information trading, and collaboration between players. Please also note, there will be asteroids in safe zones with lower value ores. So, those of you that want to stay in safe zones, you're going to be able to do the asteroid mining as well. So, asteroids will be mined out by big orgs en masse. Well, Blazemonger, we have a big org. Let's do it. Veldspar Empire. Woohoo! Yeah. So, I think it's good. It'll be fun, and it's gonna prompt some other stuff, like having some miners, having some ships swoop in to pick up the big stuff, and then having some protection there as well. So could be quite interesting. Will we be forced to place down auto miners and wait? I don't think so. I think you'll still be able to mine manually. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. It's just that, the auto miners I think are going to be really expensive. I think they're going to be very expensive. What was that? Oh, something here. Hover engine efficiency is now mastered at level 4. Yeah, all right, good. I have a bit of stuff here. Ooh. All right. Looks like I did everything up to 4, something like that for flying, and then here's all the 5s. So I got 29 million skill points. Ooh, and 586 days in my queue. Damn. All right. So I like this asteroid stuff, and it could be a total shit show. It could be a lot of fun. It could be that if you're sneaky and you're good at finding them as a lone player, that you're coming up with stuff just for yourself, and you're doing quite well at it. Consider it like exploration and Eve, and so it could be good. Could be good. We'll have to build for taking losses, though. And we could be that we take ships like this, like a single container ship. This ship is built to be a cost of less than 500,000, and you fill it up. I don't know what the ore would be worth. Like tier 1 ore of this full is like 5 million or something like that. And so, if you could land this on an asteroid, mine it, fill it up, get the hell out of there, have a nice win. And if you die, you only lost like 500,000 worth, and whatever ore you did. So, all right. The quest for Quanta. Another way for players to earn Quanta is the previously announced mission system. So, are bookmarks fixed? God, I wish they would fix them. They're janky. Bookmarks are janky at the moment. They have provided some fixes to them, but they still don't work 100% right. So you have to test them after you create them to make sure they worked right. Let's see. Coming to version 0.25, this is the mission system. It will include two components: a job board to facilitate interaction between players. For example, I need gold delivered to this location. So it'll be interesting because, like, how much are people going to pay to have stuff moved and everything? And are they going to pay enough so that you can just warp it? Or are they going to be cheapskates and not pay enough and you're just going to have to slow boat it? I don't know. So, as well as a secure framework for player and NQ created hauling missions. We hope that this will kindle the game's economy with increased specialization and proper tools for exchanges between players. The upcoming introduction of in-game challenges will also add fun ways for players to earn cash. All right. So, I know that when the mission system comes out, I will be hauling, and I'm going to specialize in non-warp hauling because I'm going to maximize my money. That's how I'm going to specialize. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. All right. On that note, we plan to revise the way markets work, considering different ways to improve connections and making it less painful to trade for goods. This should make markets more accessible and fluidify trade. Are they going to combine several markets together, or what are they going to do? I don't know. I kind of like the idea of different market locations, but the markets are a mess, but they're not necessarily a mess because of the market being bad in how it operates. They're a mess because of all the clutter around them and the frame rate. So, Remeth and Nagabator, thank you for following. Welcome. All right. So, okay. We are looking into how we can rebalance the industry. The reaction to changes introduced in 0.23 told us that there is more work needed here. The role of schematics is definitely one of the areas we're looking at. Whatever we do with schematics, we are particularly sensitive to making a fair move for players who have invested in buying them. Does that mean they're going to pull schematics out? What does that mean? I think the system's not bad. I just think that, like all Tier 1 stuff, maybe shouldn't have schematics. That only Tier 2 and above should have schematics. And then the newer player can get in and do just great. The more advanced stuff, well, it's more complex. Should be able to research schematics. That's interesting. That's an interesting idea. You'd probably still have to buy the item, but just like in Eve, we can research the material efficiency and time efficiency. Could be something like that. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So, well, we'll see what they have to do with that. I don't know what they're thinking on that, but builders haven't been forgotten. We just delivered new tools for them in 0.24, which I did see some of those things, and they seemed pretty basic, but I think they had more impact than what you might know. So we just delivered new tools for them in 0.24, and we're already working on new ones that should let builders enhance their artistic arsenal to create more amazing constructs. Pretty excited about them, but should forewarn you that it may be some time before they appear, as higher priority changes will take precedence. All right, so my wife stopped playing, And it's not because she doesn't like the game. It's just because she ran out of things that she wanted to build with the in-game tools. And then the tools for doing really intricate stuff and everything, the really fine details and everything, they proved to be more complex than what she wanted to take the time to learn. She learned some of them, but she didn't want to learn all of them. And so she just moved on to the next thing. And so maybe when they put this stuff in, she'll come back and design some really great stuff or whatnot. But, we'll see. The first-time player experience will get a full overhaul to facilitate the onboarding of new players. This is probably the most important thing. Getting people over the hump of their first couple of days or first couple of hours is really important. This game is complex. It's hard. And so the washout rate is probably pretty high. I don't know, but that's just what I suspect. Okay. We're doing away with the long monologues from Ophelia and the length of time it took to get into the action. Yeah, the tutorials did feel like the pace was not quick enough. Maybe there's just a quicker way to teach people these different things. Tutorials will be more contextual, and the experience of new players should get them into the core gameplay faster. Good. As it is now, new players sometimes need to travel long distances to find a tile free of neighbors and suitable for future expansion. The redesign will allow these new pioneers to start with their friends in a location of their choosing in a more streamlined fashion. They will also be able to select an outpost design and receive startup resources. Oh, that's interesting. So, like a first building and the resources, so they get to build their first little thing? Does this mean tile wipe? I don't think so. I don't think so. That would really go against what yeah, I don't think so. So if the original starter planet gets full, I expect that we'll see another moon of it. So that's what I think. I don't know that for sure or whatnot. You know, it could be I could be way off base. I could be right on target. I don't know. So, all right. Okay. So, stoking the PvP fires. We know a lot of players want to hear about PvP. Once we've fixed the main gameplay loops, this will be the next thing we'll tackle. Our goal for this space warfare is to be one of the driving forces in emergent gameplay, fueling the economy of the game, including for players who don't want to directly partake in combat, but might want to provide ships, ammunition, and services for those who do. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't want to do PvP. They enjoy the game without PvP 100%. There's a lot of other people that absolutely want PvP and think it's an integral part of the game. And I'm kind of in between. I think that risk is good, that we should not be risk-free. But also, you know, I've been clobbered a few times, you know, with PvP and against my wishes and everything. But, you know, what can I do? So, anyway, I try and learn within it. The only thing I ask for when they restructure PvP, I need to know when I have people logged off on my ship. Simple as that. I need to know if there are people logged off on my ship. I don't necessarily have to know who. I just need to know that there's people logged off on my ship. Because they log in, they get your coordinates, and then they do that a couple times, and then they kill you. They did do one major change. So there is one major change here that happened. And that is that if someone were to appear on my ship, which you guys have seen this on the show before, if someone were to appear on my ship when I'm seated in the seat in here, which I'm currently seated here flying, when I'm seated here, if I have a view like this, I can see their name pop up. Before, when you were seated, you couldn't unless you unseated yourself. And so, anyway, that is a positive change, but it doesn't fix the issue of when you are hours away from your destination and somebody all of a sudden appears on your ship. You know that you're screwed. What I would have to do in this case is I would have to change trajectory. And so you still don't see players if you have radar hooked up. So I have radar hooked up and I have V on. So now, can I talk about my meetings with DU folks earlier this week? That's what we've been doing the entire show. So yeah, as I mentioned, that there's a lot of stuff that I can't say, but I can tell you, help with this stuff, reading this stuff off and everything, that the intention behind it. No, we can't have any highlights yet because we're not done with it. We're still working on it. So I've been talking about it for over an hour now. So radar plus V, about 50% chance of seeing other players at the moment. You mean you can not see them? All right. Well, I didn't know that there was a possibility of not seeing them. Before, you had to see their character walking around. So all we need to know is if somebody is logged out on the ship. If they're logged in, we see them with the radar or whatever. If they're logged out, we just need to know that there's a character logged out on the ship. Or 2 characters, or 3. Because then you can choose to not fly. Or you can fly differently if you are going to fly. So, all right. So, while there are PvPers who are in it for the thrill of pirate's life, there are others who aren't pirates so much and as protectors who enjoy defender-type PvP scenarios. Yeah, I was always an anti-PK in when there was player killers in the game, which is what we called it before PvP or whatnot. So, yeah, core yourself before you leave for the flight. That is just such a horrible idea, and I'll tell you why. If you build your own ship and you are using a pilot that has all the build rights and all the bonuses and everything, then great, you can do that. That is a significant investment. What if somebody wants to buy this ship here and use it? How are they going to do that? All right. So, okay. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. So, I have given Novaquark my feedback on that directly. And there was a change that was made to where now you can see people on your ship if they logged in. But I don't know that more than that's been done. So at least was a step in the right direction. Okay, while there are PvPers who are in it for the thrill of the pirate's life, there are others who aren't pirates so much as protectors and enjoy the defender PvP scenario. In that current state, PvP can be seen as gratuitous, devoid of reason to fight beyond pillaging a bested ship's cargo. The current PvP mechanic will be modified with the addition of construct shields and rebalancing of weapons, among other things. Ooh. I missed that when I read this before. Construct shields. So I wonder, maybe they'll be really heavy or whatnot, but maybe we can put a lot into shield defenses and stuff, and have, I don't know, fuel that's used for them or something like that. So you're carrying an enormous amount of fuel, enough to keep your shields up for the full flight or something like that. But it takes a whole large container to protect a ship like this or something, and it costs you a lot. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. But that is very, very interesting, and we'll see how that works out. Let's see, as well as introducing territory control in space and later on planets. Wait, territory control in space. Does that mean that we're going to be able to put a beacon out there and claim that space? And then how does that work? I mean, can people not fly through it? Do they have to shoot some sort of shields around the whole thing? Do they get a warning that they get shot on sight if they come into the area? What does that mean? That could be interesting. And having control in space, yeah, SOV maybe. So maybe that gives you a defender's advantage. So maybe that equals a defender's advantage of space stations and stuff. Yeah. Because right now you can put a space station out there. If you're out in PvP space, it can be crushed. Absolutely crushed. So, yeah. Controlling space territories will give player benefits such as the ability to acquire highly lucrative space resources, i.e. rare gas, singularities, and a worthwhile reason for organizations and solo players to fight. Not only that, but you'll also be waging war in a style with an array of new, unique cannons and skins. Now, what do skins have to do with PvP? I didn't get that when I read it the first time. I read that. Unique cannons and skins. How do skins help me fight? What does that mean? It's a very good question. Glitzier graphics. All right. Identifying legions, radius around space construct, camo. Oh. So there's a skins feature in the game to where you can make things look different, but they've not activated that yet. So why do we paint tanks to look like sand? Yes, because they're just a little bit of camo. Make them a little bit harder to see. All right. The skins were active on the player test server. All right. Well, I didn't pick up on that. I actually have not been on the test server. I'll go on the test server when there's something really interesting to check out, but I have not been on there. So, all right. This ongoing process began in 0.24 when we overhauled many of the assets used in the world generation, i.e., trees, rocks, ground textures, etc. We've also undertaken a big push on visual effects with the slew of new and improved visual effects planned for gradual releases in the near future. Continuing our efforts with the recent addition of new voxel textures for builders, we will freshen up many of the older elements in the game to bring coherence between older and newer assets.
The train. All aboard! Choo choo.
As well as between voxels and assets. All right. So, Chris Cheek? I actually don't know how to pronounce your name. But thank you for 19 months as a sub. There's 190 gold to everybody here in your honor. Thank you, thank you.
Welcome to the Dragons.
So, we're also investigating longer-term visual improvements. For some time, we've been working on prototypes and the new planet generation technology to make sure that our planets are interesting to explore. Before we can roll this out, we will be doing an overall pass on the existing planets, like Jago. Oh, wait, I'm on Jago. With improved terrain, and more varied environment assets. There is also a project to improve lighting with the inclusion of global illumination. So they're going to test something out on Jago? Well, that's where I live, so I guess we're going to be able to see that. So, all right. Scottish, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Okay, closing thoughts. Again, please remember that these changes will be tested first on the public test server. Final versions of these features may vary depending on your feedback and our own thought processes. In terms of timing, most of the player routine fixes are planned to be gradually introduced before the end of summer, while the space warfare and PvP revamp should begin sometime thereafter. So, double that. Really? That's how you set your expectations with video game development companies. If they say by the end of summer, then we figure out, okay, so by the start of winter. You know? Drain Jago? What? Oh, I love my water out here. As you hopefully see, a lot of these changes are based on your feedback and our more grounded, pragmatic approach to game design. We realize that many of these topics require additional explanations and that they will probably trigger more questions. We will answer them in due time as we're able in future dev blocks. Until then, we look forward to hearing your thoughts, and they have a discussion thread. So I do know that they are actively reading the discussion thread and they are developing some responses to some of the stuff said there. So, yeah. So that's good. All right. So that is all of the news. So it took us like, I don't know, more than an hour to go through all of that. So if you missed it, it is on YouTube. You can go back, and started about 20 minutes in. And so it's about an hour and 20 minutes of stuff there that we went through. Overall, I think that communication from Novaquark is feeling better. And that I like this new tone that they're taking, and of communication, and so I think it's good. All right. So I've got this guy who's still headed here. He's got some time before he gets to his destination. So we'll hear him fire up and land. And then I've got this whole thing here. I need to put in more containers. It may sound crazy, but I need more containers. And this linked container. Oh, where am I linked to here? It must be linked to, I don't know what I'm linked to. Yeah, so these are the giant ones, and I have a bunch more of these ready. So I use these for certain things, but for all of the the refineries here, yeah. So yeah. Okay, so let's head upstairs. Still have a lot more work to do here. I'm taking this all down to the ground floor level, and we're gonna pull this out. I'm gonna start pulling this out today. So, got more work to do in here. I figure that when the mission system comes in, that might get a lot more player activity going, and that'll be pretty good. I haven't worried too much about, you know, people's stuff here. Oh, and I see somebody moved out. So, yeah. You know, I haven't done my honeycomb here stuff here very much. These are the screens that they're going to be changing, and so like start that, and I haven't sold very much, so I can only activate 3 of these. Well, I sold some of that. Yeah, so after 3 of them, you can't you reach the cooldown. Kind of sucks. But maybe that'll change too with this stuff. So, and I hate to see that somebody moved out of here, but you know, that's part of how it goes, I guess. So we still have ship sails out here and stuff, except none in here. Yeah, well, it's a little bit tattered, I guess. Here's a new one that what's his name's doing. It's not loaded yet? Oh. Oh, look at all them tanks. I have no idea where I'm going. Oh, here's a bridge. All right. Some more up here. Oh, that's where I was prior. Wow, look at that. Access to all the engines and stuff. That way you can fix them in flight. It's good. Oh, and downward thrust. Hey, you mentioned Apocalypse. You mentioned that he'd put some downward thrust in these. Alright, let's get out of here. If I can find my way back out. There we go. Where does this take me, though? Oh, to the bridge. Alright. I think he said there was a second battle bridge on it, too. Okay. So, somebody said that this just hadn't loaded in yet? There were some ships in here. There was a ship in here. I don't know. Doesn't look like there's anything in here. Probably sold his demo model. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna step away for just a moment. I'll be right back, and then I think I'm gonna go up to my space station and pick some stuff up and bring it back down, and gonna look at starting to demolish this other section. I'll be right back. All right. My cat made it into my office. Okay, let's go downstairs. So I have a couple things that I'm working on, and one of them is I want to tear all this down. This is all the factory going on in here. There's a lot of work put into putting all this together, but the it needs to all come down and be moved. So yeah, how much did I sell my honeycomb for? You know, I don't remember. General rule is I try and price less than 20% less than what it is on Jago or on Alioth. But okay, so if I pull all this down, I've got a lot of stuff going on here. And see, then there's all of these. Man, it's gonna take me forever to make this change. My warp cell factory. I have parts that I'm needing for it, or materials that I'm needing for it now. It's waiting. Fuel factory. I almost wonder if I like leave that stuff up and running for the moment and just pull out all the rest of the stuff. I have to figure out how I get enough room to do that, though. Have a dev delete the core? Yeah, great. So there's some big ones in here. This is the problem with my cat coming into the office here. Come on. You're gonna have to be super good. I'm not gonna put up with a whole lot of talking. All right. Listen. So I wonder. So I'm moving everything over to here. That's where it's going. What are you doing? Game looks super complicated. Well, it is. So Copilot's here. I wish I had a bridge across here. I don't know if I could build one. She's getting into everything. What are you doing? I'm gonna have to... No, she's gonna get... Oh, she's crawling behind my computers and everything. I gotta take her out of here. before she knocks something over. Come on, let's go out. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Hey, well, come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. All right. Okay. So this bit of fog stuff, I don't know what's going on. These are great distances here. This whole thing is actually really huge. So, okay. Oh, I suppose that if I needed to go across, I could go across in this. How's the fuel on this? That looks fine. I feel like I gotta go connect up to another container over there. Start pulling down all this stuff. Declare that as linked container. All right. Let's see if this is the same height or not. Will I bump into it? Good. All right, how much space have we got in this? 7,680. I think it's probably going to fill up pretty quick. So, did I see the handling update? Not sure what the handling update is. All right, so declare that as linked container now. Now I should be able to just go over there and start dismantling things. Oh yes, the right click and apply all your stats. Yes, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to the Dragons.
So those are not exactly the same height. How interesting. So Malgol, thank you for following. Welcome. Okay, so well, and then I got this ship over here. Well, and these are 2 cores. That's right. I gotta pull 2 cores out of here. Right, let's see here. Can we pocket this thing? Can only do ones that I own. Owner, Elder Dragons. It just so happens I'm super legate of Elder Dragons. Really? So I can only do it if I own it? Alright. First order of business. Let's take this apart. If I can remember how to do that. I found this someplace. Need to put in personal. Yeah, okay, well. Okay, I found this someplace and just put it together, and now I taketh it apart. Strange. All this stuff in the middle wasn't included? Right. All right. Oh. Okay, I think that's everything. We'll find out. Gone. Excellent. All that stuff went into my personal inventory. And I have a ton of... Alright, move to linked container. Linked container. Linked container. And then linked container as primary. Okay, so that is fixed up there. Then I've got this ship here. Suppose I could just put that upstairs as the example model. I'll have to get it up there though. Oh, the hole is down there. All right. So let's see how far I can move this. Must be my limit. Oh, I'm up at the ceiling. Alright.
Welcome to the Dragons.
All right. I just hit backspace, I think. There we go. Woo! Ceiling restored. All right. Well, there's one thing down. Oh, I got another ship to pull out of here too. Well, that one maybe can stay up there. Yeah, maybe I'll place that over one of the rocks or something. So, okay. Well, now we'll start dismantling this core. I need to dismantle this because it is in the way of getting ships into the main parking area I'm building underneath here. Cannot delete industry that's running? Well, okay. That sounds interesting. That's running? I don't have the necessary talents. Doesn't look like it's running to me. Gonna have to stop machines, take out the schematics. But I can't do that on this character. Well then. Alright. So be it. Alright, I'm gonna do a cut along here. Wish I could delete more at one time, but... So I'm gonna leave a little walkway, I'm gonna leave this other industry running. I do still have some other stuff that is being built here, and I don't necessarily need to take it out. All right. Let's look at this guy here. We're getting pretty close to where we're going. Oh, what's that flashing of the... Kind of weird, huh? So, gonna be landing this guy. I don't have anything for him to pick up yet, but a little later. Passing Ray, thank you for following. Welcome. Space is so quiet. So I'll be landing on this moon out here. And looks like it won't start breaking and stuff until about 4 SU. Don't fall asleep? Nah, we're almost there. Yeah, Interplanetary helper. Don't you see him there? Looks kind of like me. Co-pilot. Actually, I'm just covering something up on the screen. Boy, this whole thing of the flashing of those lights, that's annoying. All right. No, I don't think there's going to be another wipe. I think they'll just introduce more places, and so you want to go move or whatnot, well then you can. Yeah, I'm not. I see it on the broadcast. I also see this flash thing going on in the game too. So I don't know what's going on with that. Why it's doing that. All right, so as soon as the brakes come on, then we'll start reverse thrust too. I like to turn and burn so that I'm, out of PvP space. I keep my speed as high as possible in PvP space. Oh, it's not flashing this direction. Oh, interesting. It's only in this one. Something caused by the planet. Planets and the moons. Interesting. Alright, so brakes are on. I also have it on the lowest graphics settings on this client. So it's on my broadcast machine. Whereas I have it on the, I think I have it on the highest settings on my other machine. So I'm going to be landing on the moon here.
Welcome to the Dragons.
James, thank you for following. Welcome. Flashing seems to be gone now. Maybe it had to do with being zoomed out further? No? I don't know. Okay. I think this is the right side. All right, am I picking up speed? Just a little bit. All right. So.
Oh yeah, another dragon boarding the train. All aboard? Choo choo.
Full year, baby.
Full year, baby. All right, swap pup. You know what? I don't know if this is actually the right side or not. Well, we're gonna find out. So, swap pup, thank you for 12 months as a sub. There is 120 gold to everybody here in your honor. Thank you, thank you. $12,000, $37,000. Okay, it's on the other side. Gosh darn it. That is something that would be a nice improvement is to know when you're looking at a bookmark and there's something blocking it. I don't think my angle's going to get too short, but just in case, I've got it so I can give some throttle if I get too low. There is no atmosphere since it's a moon, so I don't have to worry about burning up in the atmosphere. We are getting quite close, less than 2,000 meters. Yeah. So this is one of the things I love about this game. Just would be nice if it was light, but I'm on the dark side of the moon at the moment. All right, so here is my moon base. Got a couple of small little engines there. Figured I added those as blast armor. Not really, but they are actually quite effective as armor. All right. It's just a little moon transfer base. I don't do anything other than land ships up here. And stuff's pretty dark right now, but pretty much all I do. All right, made it here. How much fuel did I use? 30%. All right. It's all good. Have I found any good ore on moons? I found some mega nodes early on, but the moons are so small that they've all been completely scanned. So I don't think there's going to be any more big breakthroughs on that. This right here, it's hooked up to this. And yeah, but I think we're going to pull it down now. How do I get that to go away? I never figured that out. That damn thing has plagued me forever.
Oh yeah, another dragon boarding the train. All aboard? Choo choo.
So, Lexifer, thank you for 4 months as a sub. There is 40 gold. To everybody here in your honor, thank you, thank you. Open the inventory and drag it out in the sidebar. Okay, who knew? All right. Now, gosh, we got so much stuff to pull down in here. I have a lot of manufacturing equipment. None of this stuff's running. Was just too far away, maybe. It'd be nice if there was a take back all, although I wouldn't want to take back the ceiling. That's being used for the marketplace up there. You know, that thing had been on my action bar there since I started playing the game. I kid you not. That was a relic from probably building my first ship 7 months ago. Incredible. All right, I can't take these containers out until I take everything out of them. Plenty of equipment to work with, huh? Alright, there's another wall down. Are these all basic? No. So, there's multiple different tiers here. That one's uncommon. This one is uncommon, common. We built a lot of these before the schematics came in. Schematics didn't screw stuff up, we just ended up with a lot of stuff. I don't mind the schematics at all, actually. So get this opened up and then I can fly my little thing through here. All right, so I'll be able to fly through there easily now while I'm still cleaning up the rest of this. There's so much to do. That's the whole point, you know. You say you don't want to buy something where you know you need schematics for a few of them. Well, that's the whole point. They wanted to add that cost in so that building became a little bit more of community, which I agree with. Well, that's a great way of doing it. Just get right up here. Like rapid fire. Bet you can't put them up that fast too. Oh, a piece of dirt. Right. Let me mark that. Yeah, I'm going to need to remove that piece of dirt. They're hard to find, especially when space is so big and everything. So... Alright. Before we do anything else, let's go get that piece of dirt. Because flying a ship through here,
Welcome
we're all
to
of
the
a sudden going to see that. Here's another one. And another one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we built this before we figured out a lot of stuff about how to clear those out and everything. How to keep from them forming. Drive through ship wash. Yeah, we got to get all the dirt out of here before we have the rest of the ship wash. Right? Right. I don't see... I'm looking for any other dirt specks. I don't see any. Here's what we do. We go down and get into this. This is perfect for this stuff. It's really great. Little pixels, man. Can be brutal. Use a large dynamic core. Oh yeah, well, now the trick is to don't allow them to happen in the first place. And so while I've been working on all the other stuff, I haven't allowed it to happen in the first place. So it's all good. How do I select all? All of a sudden I remember. I have to go down to the Control click? No. Shift click? No. How do you, God, how do I select all? I forget. There's a way to do it, right? Control double click. Thank you. My God. It's going to be painful. It's taking it a minute.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Alright, let's see here. Is Rother and Brigetti, thank you for following, welcome. All right. All right, so why didn't they go? Man, with these huge containers, do you end up with lag because of it? Oh, these are ships ready to be built, aren't they? Good. There's nothing in here. Worried that there was. Now see, this is one already to be built. All right. Good to see me and DU again. Yeah. I've been playing almost every day a little bit, but what I really want is the mission system in. I really want the mission system to come in. This is another ship. This is a combat ship. I haven't put it together yet. I guess maybe I should. Is that an original? Or I have to make a copy of it? Yeah, this is an original. here. Magic frame. Alright, I think that's... Oh, God. I want a rye hauler. Well, shit. The rye hauler's a pretty cool ship. Railgun access might take a couple of days to core another ship. Is Eve dead? Why would you say that? Go check. Make sure. All right. Quick tool cannot use this item. What's the matter with it? Why can't I use it? No equipped tool can use this item. Playground element. Oh. Maneuver tool. Okay. Golly. Deploy construct. It's a really fun ship. You did a pretty good job with this one. We'll have to update it all and everything. Space only ship. Alright. Then well, what am I missing parts or something? It's colliding with another one. What is it colliding with? Not enough material. Oh, I'm missing something. Man, really? I thought we had everything on this one. Alright, well, oops. Guess not. Alright, was there one other? Or was that it? Nope, that's it. All right. So, put that one out there. Okay. So that'll sit there just fine. It's going to go downstairs. Oh, this is, yeah, this was from Shamsy. That goes upstairs. Oh, look at all this other stuff here. I got so much stuff. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Look at these. Alright, so that's like all of these. Okay. Alright. Good. There we go. I saw another element on the floor down here too. Don't know what it was connected to, but it's not connected anymore, is it? Gosh, and getting upstairs now, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. That I can get all this stuff in here. I'm gonna end up leaving this other factory stuff up and running for the moment here. By the way, the best change that they did in everything, most definitely, the change of allowing you to apply everything in one shot to a construct. That was probably the best single thing that's come out recently. Should just move this
Welcome to the Dragons.
Alright. Wire Flame Comic. Thank you for following. Welcome. Alright, so the changes today, or the changes that they put in recently and everything, yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. Piece of dirt. Oh no. Those pieces of dirt are just killer. Where'd it go? There it is. That little thing right there, you can crash a ship on that. Well, it's all coming down. Area selection for terraforming? Yeah. Also, like they restarted to talk with the community. You know, that's something. I was talking to them yesterday, and I recognized to them that they were doing that and encouraged more of it. A little bit tedious. I'd love to be able to select a bigger area and delete. That's all I'm doing here is just deleting. Oh, I still have all of this one to do too. Darn it. Man, there's just so much work to do on this. Yeah, I have this whole one to take out too. See, what I want to be able to do is to bring my other ships in that are sitting out there. The reason that they're sitting out there is because when they come up in height, they hit the ceiling, they hit this here. So that's why I'm taking this out. There's a lot to take out. Yeah, I want to be able to get them all in there. And this ship here, I'm going to piggyback it on another ship is what I'll end up doing. I gotta get my other character out that's the shipbuilder though and have him boost everything in it. So none of this is boosted. This has 6 mediums, so the equivalent of 3 large containers. It's a lot faster than the other ship I flew today though. I'll have to put proper stuff on it for the autopilot and everything. So this is made by Ryan. Built the space station up there, which I didn't go up there yet today. We built the space station up there, and that's where I have stuff. But you got to be careful what you take up and down up there. Oh, I didn't think about that. If I take this up there, the core on this is a small, I think. Yeah, it's a small. So the extra smalls that I have up there, are they going to get attached to it? Oh man, I hope not, because that would just suck so bad. That's a problem that they really have. When I go up there, I have to land way far away from it on the other side of the space station. Otherwise, my other ships attach and they take off with me. So, what you moving? Just materials. Christopher, our thing from yesterday, they got on your case. Yeah, well. All right, so all right, well, I think we're place a large dynamic core on your space station, then all the small ships attached to that, and stay on the station. So I'd have to build another space station, and I'm considering that. So once the mission system comes in, then Captain Miller has this new thing that I'm looking at, which will allow me to place a space station exactly above our stuff here. And so maybe I'll get a large space core for that and build it. So and start using that as my space station. So I'm going to be using a new elevator. That's what I'm going to be doing. So he's built an elevator. So they'll attach to the largest core. Yeah, so if I want to bring a large spaceship up there though, yeah, the Caterpillar XL. Yep. He actually has a large one too that he's working on. Caterpillar XXL or whatever. So well, maybe I'll have to play around with that a little bit. I don't know what it would be to, you know, if you land a large core on a large core space station and you have smaller cores up there, will it still take off with the smaller cores, or will they stay on the large core space station? That is the question. Yeah. So 50-50, park your L cores on a separate area. Yeah, so maybe put 2 L cores up and all the ships go on one on the other side, and then bring any other L cores to that land on the L core that doesn't have the other ones. Yeah. Well, all right, I'll figure it out, you know. So oh, to be clear, place a large dynamic core only in the landing area. Oh. Well, now that's interesting. Okay, I get it. So yeah, and just put the core only up there. Yeah, okay. I get it. I understand. I see, says the blind man. Yeah. All right. I think we're gonna call it good for the day. Today's been a good day. So we do have a giveaway. Get in on it. Exclamation point giveaway. Give you all a few minutes to get in on that. It is a 1 month code for Dual Universe here, and you can use that, extend your current account, or you can use it to open a new account. So yeah, and that comes from our store. We don't sell 1 month codes. 3 month is for $21 is the lowest amount we got. But anyway, nice little giveaway. Yeah, is Archgeo here? I gotta upgrade my ships to the latest stuff on there too. His stuff. There's Archgeo. Hello, buddy. All my stuff is like 5.0. Let's see what the newest version is. Current version is 1.14. Wait. Well, I was talking about regular ships. Use it as opposed to DU orbital dimensions on a slight hiatus. Oh, so you've been building a different one? Oh my goodness. Not to complicate things. All right. Well, I'll have to Okay, let me make a link to that real quick. Let's see here. All right, I bookmarked that. Thank you for that. Okay, I think we're about ready to do this draw here. Tic Tac, thank you for following. Welcome. Basically the same thing, refactored and improved. All right. All right, so if you're the winner, I'll read off whatever game name, Twitch name, YouTube name you put in, whatever message. I'll also read off, well, if you didn't put in a name, I'll read off your real first name and just last initials so that you remain anonymous, but you still know who you are if you hear it. And then this will come to you as a reply to the email you got confirming your entry if you are the winner. All right, so let's see here. Congratulations to Alpha. I guess that's the name. Alpha wins. Thanks for the return to DU. You're welcome. All right, Alpha, check your email. There you go. So you are the winner. Okay, so those of you on YouTube, take care. See you Tuesday. And those of you on Twitch, I